So another Wizards of the Coast president is gone, and this is less than 2 years after Cynthia Williams, who is responsible for screwing up Dungeons and Dragons and the OGL debacle. After she got gone, they brought this other guy in, John Hight, and now he is gone. He's going to take on an advisory role in September, months after Magic the Gathering achieved mega sales. So what is going on at Wizards of the Coast that they cannot keep a president for more than a year or two? Could it be they don't know what they're doing? I'm just putting it out there. So let's talk about all this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. If you'd like to listen to the audio version of us instead of watching the video, you can listen on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts. We are there. And also, guys, you have a couple days left if you'd like to check out the pre-order for the glow-in-the-dark Halloween mask pins out on Kickstarter. Just go to halloween.ninja. That's halloween.ninja. And check those out. And thank you very much for the support. This is kind of a fun little set, I did. And kind of inspired by the Ben Cooper masks. Anyway, let's talk about this, guys. Let's talk about this. It's coming from Tweaktown. Wizards of the Coast president to leave position as Magic the Gathering hits record $500 million earnings. WotC president John Hight will take a reduced advisory role in September, just months after Magic the Gathering achieved mega sales. And this is a day after it was announced that the Cracker Barrel CEO was getting gone. And they never say, hey, we fired this person. Just so you know how corporate speak works, they always put the best face on that they can. There could be just massive disagreements behind the scenes. It could be the biggest shit show you've ever seen, and they're not going to air that dirty laundry. It's going to be like, well, John's just becoming a consultant and he's going to stay in an advisory role. Basically, we need him to help train his replacement. I think he probably got fired, if I had to guess. And I know that they're losing all kinds of money on video games. They lost like $56 million on games. It could even be that they're getting rid of him because his salary is too high. I don't know. Maybe they'll just replace him with a bot, right? It said leadership is changing at Wizards of the Coast, the label behind the highly profitable Magic the Gathering card game. That's about the only thing they've got that's making money right now, though. I don't even think D&D is making the money they were hoping it would make. According to a recent SEC filing spotted by game developer, Wizards of the Coast president John Hight will leave his position and take on an advisory role starting in September. Hight is expected to serve a full year in the role and will have such duties and responsibilities as are reasonably assigned by the CEO from time to time, including assisting with transitional efforts and the successful onboarding of a successor president of Wizards of the Coast for the company. He is training his replacement. That is what he is doing. He's training his replacement. When they get rid of corporate people, it's messy. It's not like firing the guy that bags the groceries or whatever. There's a lot of things they got to do. And a lot of times the language in the contract when they bring the person on is you can't fire me outright. You have to buy me out or give me a severance. And then sometimes, to get that severance or that parachute, you got to do certain duties, which is basically, train your replacement. I had that happen with me. It was on the opposite end of it, though. I came in and I took over management for a newspaper. This would have been my 20s, late 20s, something like that. Anyway, my predecessor, who was just not good at the job, and she was very combative, as I found out because I had to work with her for a couple of weeks. But for her to get her severance package, she had to get me up to speed. And that was a very awkward couple of weeks, let me tell you. Hey, I'm the guy taking your job. And the reason you're getting gone is because you're a pain in the ass and nobody likes you and you're not very good at your job. But, show me what you're doing so I can kind of look at it and decide if that's the direction we want to go in. Very, very tough. That was a very tough situation to be in. But I digress. Anyway, the executive helped lead the popular WotC brand over the last 2 years, earning mega millions for Hasbro in the process. Wizards' profitable and highly popular Magic the Gathering card game recently broke sales milestones by achieving $500 million in earnings in a single quarter, more than the card game ever made before. Well, when they're dumping all these tie-ins every freaking other week, And honestly, a lot of that money probably came from Final Fantasy. Magic's cross franchise promotions and brand deals have led to major surges in sales, especially the Marvel crossovers. On the interactive front, Hasbro has dialed back its gaming ambitions by canceling multiple games. This led to a $56 million impairment charge for Hasbro, showing that the company is taking a more disciplined and risk-averse approach to gaming. Hasbro still has other major video game projects in development, including Exodus, a new sci-fi action adventure game from Archetype Entertainment that's coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC in 2027. Maybe, possibly. So let's go out to Reddit in the Magic subforum, see what they're saying. They said that's 2 WotC presidents down since Chris Cox was promoted to the big chair. Honestly, it's a lot of turnover, though more so on the D&D and video game side than the Magic side. Is it because Hasbro decided to write down the video game business? Yeah, probably. Is it because Hight and Cox don't see eye to eye on AI? Speculate below. Well, actually, before this guy came in, they were using AI on Magic cards. And actually, they were using like actual stolen art, not just AI art. They were like, apparently a couple of their artists got busted lifting other people's art, like literally just tracing over it. This guy says, this is over me, says, I mean, the article really makes a point to mention Hight was trying to push the digital games, and clearly that stuff wasn't working out. So much for my imagined situation where he shows up at BlizzCon to announce the UB WoW set. Doesn't really mean the set isn't happening, but it's kind of awkward. There have been multiple canceled WotC video games over the past few years. A lot of the video game developers have been moved to Exodus, according to Namer98. If that game doesn't go well, there will be a lot of problems for them. Yeah, so they're still betting pretty heavily on the gaming, like AAA gaming, and I think that's a huge mistake for Hasbro. Chris Cox comes from Microsoft, so he thinks like Microsoft, but I think it's going to be a huge problem for them. They sucked at making games with obscure developers. The games bombed, Dark Alliance, etc. The greatest success they had was Baldur's Gate 3, and Larian doesn't want to work with them anymore. Let's see here. They're going on about video games. We got any other card-related stuff? They said, yeah, they have a long track record of being absolute dog shit at anything outside of actual card games, says Razalith. WotC might be one of the most unsuccessful companies when it comes to actually utilizing a huge IP to any success outside of their bubble, which is impressive. Yeah, I mean, they do seem to step on that rake over and over again, right? And WotC, I mean, they've come under fire, especially with the Magic cards, beyond the revenue. But I know the collectors, and I want to be very clear, I'm not a Magic card collector. I don't play Magic. I don't collect Magic. I'm a D&D guy, but I'm old school. I'm an old school D&D player. But from my understanding, retailers and collectors are very upset with how they've been handling the cards. We've seen, piles of these cards in landfills. They're upset that like every freaking character ever gets a Universes Beyond set, and they're just like cranking this stuff out. It's like freaking Fortnite on paper. It's wild. And also, people are not happy with just how they run the business in general, that they've got like the Pinkertons coming to your house and shaking you down for cards. If you get sets early, like they're going to literally send the Pinkertons to your house. And then of course we had everything going on with the union, and they were attempting to union bust a company that hires the Pinkertons, attempting to bust a union. Imagine that. You could have foreseen that happening, right? How long was the previous president around? 2 years. Yep. Before that, Cox was president of WotC before becoming the CEO of Hasbro. That might be part of the problem. Because he was the boss of Wizards of the Coast, he might be very difficult to work with because he wants things done his way. Yeah, Cynthia Williams was the previous president. She got fired too. She went to Funko and didn't last there either. Yeah, no, she didn't. My take, this is a video game dev. Okay, so this is I am Leeta. My take, video game dev here, is nobody outside the video game industry really knows how much a video game costs. That's true. Hight came from Blizzard with a job to do and probably spent 2 years dealing with people who rejected his experience and knowledge. This person says, we're going to start listening to you goblins now. Get back to work. I imagine Wizards is learning a lot from Exodus right now. Yeah, they're probably too far into it or they would cancel it. Yeah. So seems okay. So this is interesting. This shows me like I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to be a dick. I mean, I often am a dick, and I am a dick without trying. But in this case, I'm not trying to be a dick. People don't understand corporate nice, and they don't understand how the corporate world actually works. There are multiple levels in the workforce. Like the grunts, those of us that are grunts, there are different rules for us than there are for people in the C-suite, right? And yeah, so anyway, this guy says, seems strange to post record profits and release your president, but I don't know the internals. Could be disagreements, contract disputes, Hight getting better offers externally, or getting passed over for a promotion within Hasbro. This person says they're not releasing him. He's in a different role at WotC. The article mentions that a digital team at Blizzard was hired by Wizards, which helps explain why he would want a different role. He's staying on as a consultant. Unless I miss something, he's staying on as a consultant because he needs to train his replacement. And this is something that they do, you know, again with the C-suite. Usually you have to screw up royally to get thrown out in your keister. And I know people love the idea of somebody just being thrown out, you know, on their ear and here's all your shit and get out of here. But when you're dealing with corporate bureaucracy, is very, very different than, again, like, you know, firing a dishwasher or something like that. Like, you know, nobody else can pick up the slack necessarily. And there could be contracts that could prevent them from doing that. Seriously, like the C-suite, you want to talk about failing upwards. These guys have contracts and protection. And like, if you want to get rid of them, in a lot of cases, you have to buy them out. And that happened at another company. I think I talked about this in the Cracker Barrel video where it was actually my superior. He sucked at his job. I'm going to be honest. He was a nice guy, but he was terrible at his job. And they wouldn't get rid of him and wouldn't get rid of him and wouldn't get rid of him. And here it was, he had like a 5-year contract. So like 3 years into the gig, they just bought him out. They're like, you know what? It costs us more money. We are losing more money by keeping you here, because you keep screwing everything up. So they just bought him out. And he was thrilled. He was like, yeah, I get to go not work for the next, 2 years and get my full salary. So I'm going to go fishing. I'm like, oh, okay. So did you do it intentionally? Did you want to get fired? I mean, I don't know. But there we go, guys. This is very interesting. Look, my gut, my spider sense is telling me that Wizards, Hasbro, whatever, is in a much worse place than they're letting on. Like, I think the Magic cards are making tons of money, but I think they're losing money elsewhere. So I don't know. I expect some changes to come here pretty soon. Possibly in D&D. I still think, I know everybody thinks I'm like a broken record or one-trick pony or whatever, but I think D&D could possibly get outsourced. The books could get outsourced at some point in time, because Hasbro does not seem interested in making physical goods, hard goods, or whatever they call it. Like, they don't want to make books. They don't want to make their own toys. They'd rather have somebody else make the toys for them. They're doing that with like Playmates and stuff now, and Basic Fun. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. Again, check out, you got a couple days yet. Halloween.ninja. That's Halloween.ninja. Check out the Ben Cooper style glow-in-the-dark pins we're doing, and we'll talk to you guys later. Now funding on Kickstarter, a brand new set of Halloween mask pins, vintage style pins designed by me, Kneon. Check it out at Halloween.ninja. That's Halloween.ninja.